Alright, it is vlog 106, and I am waiting here at Peppermill. If you play at a place like Reno, there's nothing worse than being fourth on the list, by the way. You want to either be first or you want to be eighth. Because first means you're going to be in the game soon, eighth means there'll be another game. But fourth means you're going to be waiting a while. It was due to be a big couple of days at Peppermill Reno, with drawings happening basically 5 times an hour, where people get called, and the more hours they have, the more tickets they have in the drawing, and they select from envelopes, most of which contain $100, but some contain 500 or 200 or so on and so forth. This results in a lot of people who don't play very often coming into play, and it results in guys like Bo, who plays 7 days a week for multiple hours a day, having 1 million drawing tickets and winning a decent amount of money. But this vlog starts off when a tough Serbian player opens under the gun playing 6-handed at 25, and I look down at ace-9 of clubs and make the call. So with 55 in, the flop is king, queen, 3, all hearts, and he checks. I decide against bluffing here, and I check it back. The turn is the 4 of hearts, and he checks again. Now I figure bluffing is definitely in order. So I bet 30, and he calls quickly. So with 115 in, the river is an offsuit 8, and now he checks. I debate the second barrel, and finally decide to go ahead and do it. I bet 65, and he folds pocket 4s for a turn set. That's one of those you can bluff good players, but not bad players type of spots. I pick up another suited ace, playing 7-handed, this time ace-8 of spades under the gun, and I raise to 15. Low jack calls, and the big blind defends. So with 45 in, it comes ace-10-3, all clubs, and the big blind checks. I decide to bet 25 with top pair here. The low jack calls and doesn't look back at his cards when he does so, which I couldn't help but think was bad news for me. So with 95 in, the turn is the 6 of spades, and I bet 35. He then grabs a tower of red chips and slides them into the pot. I didn't ask how much. I just fold my hand. I had sort of expected something like this when he called the way he did. Next hand, we get a limp under the gun, and as you can see, the button straddles to 10. I have king-queen offsuit in the cutoff, and I make it 30. Button folds, and the limper calls. So with 70 in, it comes king-deuce-4 with 2 spades. He checks, I bet 35, and he calls. So with 140 in, the turn is an offsuit 6, and he checks again. Still figuring I'm almost always going to be good here, I bet 55, and he ends up check calling. So with 250 in, the river is the 3 of spades, and again he checks. Against players I know well, I'd be more apt to value bet here, but I'm just not sure who this guy is, and unknowns tend to love to trap. So I decided to check it back here, and sure enough, he was trapping, as he shows 9-7 of spades for the flush and the win. Well, boy, did I screw this next hand up. It comes when a straddle is on, and a pro opens to 30 under the gun. The straddle comes along, and I come along from the blind with 6-7 of diamonds. So with 90 in, it comes 10 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, 4 of spades, giving me a gut shot straight flush draw. I check, under the gun bets 50. The straddle folds, and obviously I'm not folding. In this case, I decide just to call. So with 190 in, the turn's an offsuit 8, giving me a straight. I check, and he bets 135. I thought about it for a minute and decided that my best course of action against this particular opponent was to check call here and then check the river as well. There's a lot of reasons for this, but that's what I came up with. So with 460 in the pot, the river is a slightly above average card. It comes the 8 of diamonds, giving me the straight flush. And then I got to experience an extremely lousy feeling. As I mentioned, my plan was to check every river card here, thinking that he's going to be bluffing a lot of the time, and I want to give him the chance to do so, and maybe he could still find a value bet with some of his other holdings. I check, and he simply checks back pocket aces. Do I think that he would have checked back if he had nothing? No, but I should have known that he probably wouldn't bluff here or value bet super thin, given how much easier it is for me to have a flush defending out of the big blind than it is for him opening under the gun. So after messing that hand up, I do get the $125 bonus that gets me back to even on the day. We get another $10 straddle, and 4 people call it. I look down at 2 red 10s in the big blind and make it 70. It folds around to the button, and the aforementioned Serbian, whose action I really don't want, calls. So with 190 in, the flop is slightly above average again. 10-8-4, 2 spades. I bet 60, obviously wanting to keep him in with anything he could have, and sure enough he calls. So a 310 in, the turn's an offsuit ace. I bet 85 here, and he thinks about it for a second and folds. Definitely a bad card for me to continue to get action, as I'm going to have a lot more aces as the pre-flop squeezer than he's going to have calling me like he did. But either way, we win another one, and now, 2 hands later, I flopped another set, this time made about $200, and at that point was up 5 on the day. And then I didn't get video, but a VIP made it 25 from +2, and I pick up 3-4 of hearts from the big blind, and because he's a VIP, I make the call. So at 50 in, it comes Jack 3-3. I check, and he bets 100. I then check raise to 225, which he calls. So with 500 in, it turns to 6 of hearts. I bet 200, and he ends up making the call here. So the pot is really big now, 900 in, and the river is the 5 of spades. I bet 300, it's about a third of the pot. He thinks about it, and finally ends up going out. So we end up running extremely good on this session, despite a big misplay and a critical hand, rack up, and book the win. So that concludes the traditional portion of this vlog. What you're looking at right now is the video portion of an intro that I recorded the next morning, the sound quality of which was too bad to air, so I'm not doing it. But my idea was to simply update you on how things were going throughout what was going to be a marathon-type day for me, starting at about 10 a.m. and ending hopefully around midnight, though that was TBD. And it was definitely an interesting day. And by the way, I will have my results of all 3 sessions of the 3-day stretch at the Peppermill that featured these free money giveaways coming up at the end of the vlog, because I was able to sneak in a rare 3-hour Saturday session before my shift at work.
See what you made me do?
All right, it is just after 2 o'clock, so we are 4 hours into what I think might be a 14-hour session. I'm not 100% sure, and so far things going quite well. Up $1,000 to this point. I've already played 2 $1,000 pots. One of them came against the aforementioned Serbian pro, who by the way I like a lot. His name's Marco, and local favorite Mr. Z always refers to him as Marco from Trupoja.
Marco from Trupoja.
Big fan of the movie Taken is Mr. Z, as am I.
You either give me what I need or this switch will stay on and turn the power off for lack of payment on the bill.
But I ended up rivering the nut flush against him on a hand where I had ace king of hearts on jack 6-8 2 hearts, and there was a third player in the hand that was donating to one of the two of us, happened to be me in this case. Then I ended up flopping top set, and my opponent went runner flush on me to lose a $1,000 pot there. But I've won a whole bunch of small pots during that time and find myself in pretty good shape at this point. Again, I don't remember the last time I played a 14-hour session, so we'll see if I can make it. I'd like to, because this free money thing is a nice added benefit, not just to the fact that they're giving away basically $500 an hour or more in drawings, but the fact that the games are a little bit better as a result of that. So I'll check back in with you later this evening.
I ain't choose the game chose me. I'm a champion, I need some trophies. I can draw the lane.
All right, it is 6:50, if you can see that, and I'm checking in after things have taken a turn, unfortunately. For me, I was up 1,300, and now I'm only up about 400, maybe a little under 500. I lost about a $1,000 pot to an OMC when I rivered trip aces queen kicker against his 8s full of aces, and then I lost a couple of hands to 2 different VIPs who then got into a hand with each other, and it was a $5,000 massive VIP on VIP pot, and it didn't result in both of them leaving. One of them is the ultimate, he just loves to play, he wouldn't leave. The guy that won it probably will leave soon, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, these free money drawings, of which I have now won one of them all day long. They have 5 per hour, just giving away a ton of money here at the Peppermill. They're going on till midnight, so I'm just going to try and grind this thing out and try to book a nice win here today, try to make it back-to-back going into the weekend. So it's about 10 o'clock at night or so now, and I'm here And Mina, I can never beat her out of a hand, it's impossible, but she has a gift for me. What do we have here today?
I made these ube coconut mousse cakes. Ta-da!
Now,
It's white chocolate in the bottom, ube cake, mousse, and ube cream.
now, generally speaking, when I think of you, I think of things that are going to get me high. So
It's safe.
this is not going to do that.
This is kid friendly, guys.
Kid friendly. Well, I do have a kid, so if he grabs it, he'll be okay.
He will not be dead.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this day is getting better and better. We got up 700 so far. Couple setbacks, but I was up 1,300 at one point, but up 700 now, and we got some cake to go on top of it. Are you jumping back in this game?
Jumping back.
Are you jumping in a game? I know you grinded like 20 hours last night.
a little bit, guys. Yes, I am jumping back in the game, and I'm gonna crush it.
She generally does. All right, well, I did not make it to midnight. It is a little after 10 o'clock. Cashing out, booking a $537 win. Disappointing. Not too often you say that about a $537 win, but this one is. As I was up over 1,300 at one point, made a couple of mistakes, and then got coolered in a hand against an OMC, trip aces against eights full, as I mentioned. That was the biggest hand I lost, but also ended up playing a few hands later on that I just shouldn't have played. It's amazing how often the hands that you lose a decent amount of money in are hands that you shouldn't have played in the first place. Can I see the Morpheus meme one more time, please? Thank you. That'll wrap it up for us today. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's great for the channel, and we'll see you back here next time.